Yes, we're back. What's good, everybody? We'll do it live. We'll do it live. I'm joined again with Red Wolf for another UFC pay-per-view breakdown. This time we're going to be running through the main card of UFC 311 with some jam-packed fights on this card. Overall rating-wise of this card, I would probably give a solid 8. I think I said it was. What did you make of it? Would you rate it an 8?
I think eight's fair. Do you know what I mean? I think there's some cracking fights on there. You know, even not just the main card, even the prelims have got some good ones. We lost one with Johnny Walker and Bogdan, but
oh yeah,
you know, that should have been a banger. But I'd say eight and a half, maybe.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty solid actually. To be fair. Yeah, super excited for this card. Now, if you are new to the breakdown show and you're unsure of the way that this works, effectively, we're going to go through each of the main card fights and we're going to decipher who has the upper hand in the striking, grappling, speed, power, and cardio. And you guys are going to help us with that as well. If you're catching this at a different time, then feel free to get in the comment section. Let us know how you would rate these fights out of 10, or you know, for each of those subjects that I've just given you there. So welcome on in. Yeah, first of all, before we properly get into things, Red Wolf, what did you think of the custom shorts that came out for both Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan?
Do you know what? They're nice, but a little bit basic, I thought. I mean, you've got Islam with the mountains and the sword, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But for me, like, Merabs from a distance, like, unless you zoom in, they kind of look like England football kit.
I can see that.
Do you know what I mean? I know it's a Georgian flag and it's similar to St. George's, but like at first when I was scrolling and I'm looking at it, I was like, is that the New England kit? It looks all right, that. And, you know, it's quite basic. You know, I expected a little bit more, but, you know, not bad. Not the best ones we've seen, but not bad.
No, I mean, admittedly, I felt that Merab's was the better one.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And then with Islam's, I didn't see the mountains at first, and I was like, what the hell are these? Like, I was like, damn, they've done Islam dirty here, because all I can kind of see is the sword on the side. I'm like, bro, Venom don't like Islam. I mean, I guess he's probably a tough character to kind of, you know, create a unique design for, but yeah, then Breezy pointed out it's actually the mountains, and I was like, okay, yeah, Dagestan. All right, then, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. But yeah, I mean, they're not as bad as Gaethje's, which was just a black American flag.
Yeah, that was pretty basic.
You know what I mean?
I felt as well.
But they're not as good as Moreno's or Whaley's.
Yeah, I really rated Ilia Topuria's, and Max's is probably one of the best as well, because
Max is brilliant. Yeah. I'd have preferred them in red, you know. I mean, I might be being biased there, but if they were red with the flowers on, that'd look sick.
Okay, all right, yeah. Make it even more Hawaiian. Just go extra Hawaiian.
Exactly. Because Max always had the little red stripe on his shorts, and I thought, you mix a bit of red in there, that'd look good.
Yeah, all right, fair. Okay, cool. So, if anyone's joining us, whack a like on the video, and get your comments in the chats as well, because we'll read them out as we go along. Let's kick off things in this. Well, it's going to kick off the main card for us. We're actually first up with the prelims. Man, I am pumped to see Peyton Talbot. Don't know about you.
Yeah, everyone loves Peyton Talbot. I mean, I think that kid's on like a rise, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like becoming a fan favorite already. It's a shame he shaved his hair down a bit. I think the afro was kind of his like trademark. Apparently, he shaved his hair a bit.
It's very like Surfer Boy almost, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, he had that kind of swagger about him and stuff like that. But I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you're a betting man, but the odds on him is just mental. Is it minus 1,000? I last saw it. That might have changed by now, but minus 1,000. Like, I think they think he's gonna win.
I mean, Ronnie Barcelos is, somebody who's been around the game for quite some time, probably on the back end of his career. But yeah, I mean, Peyton Talbot is sort of at that stage now where he's ready to try and take out some of the veterans of the game and get really tested, Jonathan Almeida, Sergey Spivak, bit of one that's flying under the radar there. That's a big one. Spivak's been looking pretty decent ever since he lost against Tsarukyan. Jonathan Almeida, I think, is still kind of proving himself in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think he's a dark horse. I think if he, keeps going, there'll probably be talk about title shot. But at the minute, the heavyweight title is a bit of a sticky situation, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe he'll get there eventually. But we're going to kick things off with the first fight of the main card. We're going to stick some stats on there for you guys to have a look. And the first fight, Kevin Holland against Reinier Derrida. We'll stick probably this one is probably the most intriguing one out of them all. The grappling stats up. But we'll start off by talking about Derrida. Now, this is his first test against kind of a well-known name in the UFC, really. If he finishes Kevin Holland, do you think he's ready for a ranked opponent next?
I think so. Probably. I mean, he was a double champion in one. I think he had, he's only lost twice in his career, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken on that one, to be fair. So, yeah, it makes sense to start. I'm not saying Holland isn't a tough opponent, but it makes sense to start giving him tougher opponents to get him into the top 15, the top 10, and see, how far he can climb into the UFC. I mean, especially, he's a double champion in another organisation. It makes sense. I mean, look what happened with Asakura, the last pay-per-view. He came in straight away, got a title shot. And so I get what RDR's trying to do. I'm not attempting the name. I'm going to call him RDR. So he's trying to build his way up slowly and this, that, and the other. But, beating GM3 at his own game as well, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, he... Oh, fuck. What happened? Are we still live? Are we still live?
Are we live?
I think we're live, yeah. It's just, for some reason, on my... Oh, no, we're still live. Yeah, don't worry. Kind of panic.
I thought it was going to be me that swore first.
Oh, I didn't panic then. I've been clicking away and different windows and all that. We nearly had a disaster, but we're all good. Yeah, back onto Derrida then. Yeah, pretty impressive performance against GM3. Like you said, beat him at his own game. I still think I want to see more from him, really. And maybe this Kevin Holland fight is the ultimate fight that we kind of get to see that. Sticking with Kevin Holland, this isn't the first time the UFC has handed him a newcomer with some hype behind them. He's 3 wins in his last 8, which is tricky. The Dvalishvili fight I felt was competitive until he popped his rib. I thought he was very laser focused, did very well chopping at that lead leg and using his kicks against Dvalishvili. But, with Kevin Holland in previous fights at middleweight, he seems to struggle against the bit more physical middleweight who's got some wrestling to their background. But can you see this being a more winnable fight for Holland compared to perhaps some of the previous fights, like a Roman Dolidze, MVP, who's a newcomer into the UFC with a bit of hype behind them? He beat Michel Olasheychuk. I felt very strong that he was going to pull through on that one. And then, of course, Jack Della Maddalena in there as well, which was another rising contender at the time. Do you think this is a more winnable fight?
It's going to be a struggle for him because we know Kevin doesn't fare well with grapplers. Do you know what I mean? And RDR's main thing is grappling and jiu-jitsu. Maybe we'll get a funny moment of him shouting over to Khabib, asking for advice again. Do you know what I mean? But or it's like that while he's got a rear naked choke on him. That's the thing with Kevin Holland is like I love watching him because you never know what's going to happen with him. Like he's one of those like dark horses. I called the Michael again, I'm not trying the last name. I called that fight, and I actually had him winning by sub because surprisingly, Holland he has got some submission threats,
He
but I
does.
don't think I don't think he's going to be on the level of RDR. That's a very very high level.
Yeah.
Um, so it's big mouth, it's Trailblazer. Anything can happen. I'm not
It
writing him off.
is. I know. It depends on the Kevin Holland that turns up on the night and how he's feeling in
Yeah,
there, really. Like I said,
yeah,
I felt that the Leeds fight, he looked very laser focused with a task at hand and was doing quite well on the feet, I felt. And I think
yeah,
it's going
yeah.
to be very interesting to see how he does against the Ritter and if he's able to kind of shut down that hype.
Hmm.
Um,
I think
yeah, I,
if he picks him apart, keeps the distance, enters that laser focused flow state, he could he could go to decision, or he could even knock him out.
yeah. Yeah,
It's a
if I
could.
was to rank the opponents then in terms of like those opponents that I listed, in terms of more winnable, I would probably put Michel Ojeju at the top. Obviously, you got the win there. It was pretty
Yeah,
clear.
yeah.
Then I would probably put an MVP. Then I'd probably put Jack Della Maddalena. Oh, actually, no. It's very difficult. Yeah, maybe
A
an
lot of
MVP, then
people thought he
JDM, and
would
then a
be.
Roman.
Yeah,
Or
I
Roman
saw a lot
JD.
of people saying that he could beat MVP, whereas I that's MVP for that one, just because he was quicker. MVP's
He
got the
was.
speed and the style and but that was a great fight. It was a really good fight.
Yeah, and at the time, you kind of would look at it and go, well, he lost against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson as a similar style to MVP, so you'd
Yeah,
automatically think that MVP would comfortably beat Kevin Holland. However,
yeah,
going into the MVP fight, you felt, well, Kevin surely had learnt his lesson from the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight and actually take the fight to the ground
yeah.
where he'd be able to showcase his better skills. But we didn't see
We
it,
think so. But
you
we
know?
didn't see it at all, and we saw a similar thing. I mean, the one thing with Kevin Holland as well is he has trouble with his hands. He seems to break his hand nearly in every fight. Um, but yeah, MMA math doesn't work. I think we
No.
figured that out. You know what I
It
mean?
doesn't. It really doesn't. All right. Okay. What we'll do is we will drop that down. We'll get into the gauge then. Here's the tricky side of things. Starting off then with striking. Who do you go with?
Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
That's-
I'm quite comfortable on that one, I think, as well. Yeah, without doubt. Grappling, Derrida, would you say?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the guy has got some mad submission skills. Kevin Holland's submissions are pretty they're pretty sick.
They're good. They're good, and they can be unconventional and come out of nowhere. But with RDR, it's just like worlds apart. It's like white belt, black belt type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just checking on. We've got 13 submissions in favour of Derrida. So 13 of his 18 wins. That's mad. Big stat. Pretty
That's
clear
good,
what he's going to do. But, big one, power.
I think I'm gonna go Trailblazer. He's had
Yeah,
some amazing knockouts.
I've
Even
got
for
to agree
the
with that.
Jacare Souza one from the bottom. When was the last time we saw something like that?
Yeah, the guy gets such a lot of talk on those punches, man. And not only that,
Yeah,
I've noticed that Derrida's striking is quite slow. He's got that textbook Dutch kickboxing style, but he's not the quickest on the feet, and that's why I'd also go with speed in favour of Kevin Holland as well.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
speed was apparent in the Delize fight. If he just
And look at the Joaquin Buckley knockout, the
yeah,
Joaquin Buckley fight. It was like a bullet, man. It was like a bullet.
yeah, prime time exactly, and it's difficult to see him back at middleweight in a way.
Yeah.
I felt he was doing quite well at welterweight. He didn't get handed the best of fights. Well, I guess bar the JDM fight, that was probably a good one for him.
Yeah. I mean, the Wonderboy fight was good, and it was good to
Yeah.
see him and Wonderboy, like do the whole, and they even got an advert out of it, the tequila advert. So that's always fun to watch,
Yeah. Yeah. Cardio, though, comes down to 3 in favour of Holland at the moment. We're only giving Dorita 1.
See, I don't think that reflects it well, but I do think Kevin might have the better cardio as well. We saw in the RDR and JM3 fight that they both looked knackered. I mean, it's just like after RDR won, they just both lay down and just kind of, took a breather for a couple of minutes. Whereas you don't really see Kevin Holland do that. Even after a hard 5 rounds, he's up and he's walking about and he's chatting. You know what I mean? So I may have to say, trailblazer again with the cardio.
True that. Wow. Okay. That's quite impressive. We've got 4 in favour of Kevin Holland. Striking, power, speed, and cardio. And only 1 for Dorita. That's intriguing. Now I've got to ask you, who are you picking on the night? Are you picking Dorita or are you picking Kevin Holland?
I think if you're going to play it safe, I think the safe bet is Dorita by submission. Do you know what I mean? It's like we've got 4-1 in that, but that's depending on the night. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Holland knocks him out or gets a decision.
Yeah. Same. So it's early days at the moment. But I'm kind of feeling for Kevin Holland at the moment. I really am, on the feet as well. We do need to see him fight a lot smarter, and I'm hoping we get to see that. I mean, we didn't get to see a proper good scrap against Delite, really. Delite comfortably took him down, but it was in the process of transitioning for the armbar when Kevin Holland popped his rib. So
yeah. So that's always going to have a bit of a what if. I mean, that might be a rematch we see down the line, to be honest.
Yeah, who knows? I wouldn't be mad at that. Would not be mad at that at all. Okay. All right. Let's move on then. I think Kevin Holland. Yeah, I'm sticking with on this one. Let's clear that. Bring that down. Bring that back up. To move on to the second fight of the main card between Beneil Dariush and Renato Moicano in the lightweight division. 2 good grapplers battling it out in this one. We'll leave some grappling stats up for the guys. Starting off with Money Moicano then. A win against Dariush could set him up for a big fight later on in the year. He made my ones to watch for 2025. He was on my top 5. And I put him in there for that exact reason, really. I'm quite confident that he can get a win in this, keep the momentum going, and perhaps push towards title contention. But can you see him climb towards title contention this year? And if so, which fight would you book him in there with?
So Moicano, like you say, he's been on a run. Like, that saying, like, I cannot afford to lose. He's bang on because he just seems to be steamrolling everyone. Shout out Matt Pravola. But it's one of them where it's like, who's next? Because if he beats Bennett, he's in the top 10, because Beneil Dariush is actually ranked number 9. So I would presume he would take his spot. To cement himself for a title shot, it's got to be someone big and someone in the top 5. Now, I was looking at the rankings today, and I spotted a certain Max Holloway is actually in the top 5.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Now, Max Holloway versus Money Moicano could be a banger.
Yeah, I can see Moicano talking his way into that fight, perhaps. I've got a
They're
bit
getting some
more.
money.
It's the money fight, yeah, brother. Show me the money, brother. Show me the money. I see what you mean. I've got more on Max Holloway and in a video which we're hoping to bring out very soon. I've got some big fights for him in that, and yeah, I can only see Max fighting people above him when he returns for the BMF title, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah, I respect your pick, but I'm gonna go with a different one of myself. I think perhaps we could see. How far do they push him up is the question, and who are they going to give Dan Hooker is also another thing.
Well, the other name that I did come up with, but I thought maybe too high, is Charles Oliveira.
I was thinking that. There was part of me that was thinking that, but
both jiu-jitsu like specialists, both bring on a great fight. It could that could be. I mean, and if he beats Oliveira, then that automatically puts him in title contention.
He's there. Yeah. For me, I think it would either be Charles Oliveira or the loser of this weekend's main event.
That's not a bad idea. Oh,
depending on health reasons, of course, and timing.
Yeah.
Because if both men are pretty banged up, then for Moicano, you're looking at your Dan Hookers, your Max Holloway's. Best bet would be Charles Oliveira. But I think maybe perhaps Moicano might need 2 fights before he gets a title fight.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's the case.
I agree with that. And I don't even think he'd mind that either, because I think he's after stacking the paper and then, going for the title and this and the other. I mean, I consider Dan Hooker as well, but there's a rumor going around Dan Hooker Gaethje might be being made.
Yeah, so, I've heard that as well. That's recent, isn't it?
Yeah.
And which makes you think that maybe perhaps we're going to get Holloway versus Poirier. Because Poirier wants one last dance, doesn't he? Unless the UFC are going to bring back a Nate Diaz and they finally do that fight. Or
to be honest, that is exactly where my head's at with it. Like, if this is going to be Umar and this is Poirier's retirement, bring Diaz back. Let's get that fight made. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So it'd be interesting. Yeah. I personally would like to see Poirier Gaethje third time round. I know it's so soon, but I think it's a good one. Huh?
You say this, you just like violence. I love it.
Yeah, I just like violence. Exactly. I think, there's a story behind it. It's a good one to bow out to. Whereas bringing Nate Diaz back, he's a name, but he's not been blowing people away in recent outings and whatever he's been doing.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I think, big money fight for both of them. Dana would have to pull the checkbook out if he hasn't blew it on John Jones yet.
For sure.
But, for me, I mean, I wanted to see that fight years ago when it was first announced, and I think Diaz got injured and stuff like that. I think that'd be a banger, but then, like you say, have I got nostalgia glasses on and keep thinking of Diaz of old? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. All right, let's move on then. Let's digress and talk about Beneil Dariush for a second then. He's lost 2 in a row against the elite of the division. He's 35 going against a guy who's the same age as him, but currently in the prime of his career, would you say, Manny Moicano, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
He's on a trajectory. I mean, it's funny that those two are the exact same age. And no disrespect to Benny, but he looks older. Do you know what I mean? He's got a lot of grey in that beard now and a lot of grey in the hair. So it's...
It's true. It's true. But could Dariush have 1 foot out of the door at the moment? Or do you think this time off was a wise move for him? Only one man has ever managed to submit Dariush in the octagon. Do you know who that was?
I think this is like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I think that was, I want to say, a Chiesa.
You're bang on there, sunshine. It was Michael Chiesa. Good shout,
I think it was
man.
a ring. I could see the tattoos. I could see the tattoos in my mind. I was like, that's Chiesa. That's, you know.
Yeah, solid one. So do you think that Dariush has got one foot out the door, perhaps?
I've kind of thought that for a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, we've not seen him for a while. He's been on a bit of a skid. I met Benny in Manchester at 304. He was in Bilal's corner. And he was a great guy, really nice guy. But that might be wrong, but I feel like he's focused on coaching than fighting. I think this could be Beneil's swan song. This could be his last one, if I'm honest. But the thing with Beneil Dariush is, again, you can never count him out. I mean, look at the Drakkar close fight. I mean, he was wobbly. It looked like he was going to go out, and then he just came back, highlight reel knockout, and had DC and Rogan and Anik, you know, birthing a meme. Everyone was using that picture, you know, of them three losing their minds. So he's got spinning back elbow knockouts. He's got, you know, I think he dropped Arman or Gamrot. You know, and Gamrot again was another one that was supposed to be flying to the top. So it's definitely, you know, you can't count Benny out. And if he gets a win on his way out, or will that coax him into staying again? We don't know.
Yeah. I guess it's all going to depend on the result and how he feels straight after the fight, I guess.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Well, it's going to be a tough fight. Like I say, Moicano, you were right to put him in and want to watch because his improvement is just, you know, it's phenomenal how much he's improved as a fighter.
Yeah, the Benoit Saint-Denis fight, the way he just butchered him was insane. And that's a Benoit Saint-Denis who's, okay, maybe his confidence has shot a bit since losing to Dustin Poirier, but he's a young gun who was running through people prior to the Poirier fight. And yeah, Moicano just absolutely 10-7'd him.
Obliterated him.
In his home backyard as well. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's even worse. When you're getting battered in your own backyard and in front of your own people, you know, his face was a mess as well, you know. And, you know, I think that's the other thing with Moicano is he's got the jiu-jitsu, he's got the submissions, but now we can see he's got some vicious ground and pound and elbows. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight for Benny. And Moicano needs to be ready for the unexpected.
For sure. But if we're going to rate these boys, then, who would you sway things for striking?
Striking. I'm probably going to go with Benny on that one.
Yeah? Benny? Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's controversial, but as I say, you know, he knocks out Drakkar close. I think it was Scott Holtzman he knocks out with a spinning back elbow. I think Benny's one of them where he's not known for knocking people out, but when he does, like, it's pretty impressive. He does it in impressive fashion.
He's got great timing, isn't he?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, and shot selection.
Whereas with Moicano's been dropped a lot. Now he comes back, but he does seem to be dropped a lot. And his strength is striking to enter the takedown. Whereas with Benny, he seems to be able to strike and take down.
Yeah.
It seems more of a level there. And it's only slight. It's only giving Benny the slight edge in the striking.
Okay. Very, very slightly. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good assessment. Welcome on in Imran Khan, who is joining us. Welcome in, brother, who says, Moicano gonna win, man, because he just cannot afford to lose, my brother. He cannot afford to lose, my brother. You know, Dana White, I want a title fight after this. Show me the money.
Show me the
brother.
money.
Awesome stuff, Imran Khan. Love the contribution there. Who would you give the grappling edge to? Asking you, Imran Khan, in the chats as well, and Breezy, I see you in the house. Who would you give the grappling edge to?
I'm gonna go with money on that one.
You go with Moicano. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I'm being I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, and I'm being quite controversial. Again, slight, but I feel like now, at this time, I feel like Moicano's grappling is better than Beneil's. If we're talking 5 years ago, different story.
Yeah, but Dariush is very high level grappler. He's very good, and the fact that he nullified Mateusz Gamrot. All right, Mateusz Gamrot's more of a wrestler, but the scrambles he put that guy in was phenomenal. He really surprised me in that fight, and yeah, I can see your reasoning behind that. You know, fresh Moicano after dominating grappling performance against Benoit Saint-Denis. Power though, ooh,
power goes to Benny.
You're giving Benny power. Ooh, very nice. Okay,
it's one of those. So Benny power's standing, but Moicano power ground and pound. You know,
5 by knockout for Benny. 5 losses by knockout as well for Benny.
He likes to even things up.
Yeah, it's
only
two wins knockout for Moicano. 10 by submission. Very interesting stats.
Same.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
And he's got that, you know, like that sleeper build kind of strength. Do you know what I mean? Where you look at him and you don't think, well, I could take him, and then he knocks you, and you wake up a week later. Do you know what I mean? So, power for me, Benny's definitely got more power. And you see that in the knockouts that he has won, the 5 knockouts. You know, I think they were standing.
For sure. Speed though, I think we got to give that Moicano, right?
Yeah, I agree with that one. He's slimmer, he's quicker, got the fast twitch muscles. 100%.
Oh, it's all going to come down to cardio. Oh, guys, cardio. We've got so far to recap: Dariush with the striking and the power, Money Moicano with the grappling and the speed. But across the 3 rounds, who is going to have the most gas tank?
Tough one. That.
Yeah.
I'm. Let's say yours, because I'm slightly leaning towards Money on that one.
Yeah, I am as well. I mean, we've got to look back at previous wins. Just, you know, we're all getting old. We've all got short-term memory, of course. You know, we only remember the last fights. The exchanges, the way he was fluidly going through the gears when on the ground with Benoit Saint-Denis was pretty damn good. Kept him where he wanted him the whole time, and that is cardio taxing in itself, especially against a strong guy like Benoit Saint-Denis. You know, the ground and pound against Jalen Turner, that was a tough one. Went 3 rounds against Drew Dober. Drew Dober is a pocket rocket man. He's got a gas tank on him as well. So to best Drew Dober, I think is pretty impressive. The RDA loss was, I think, quite unfortunate for him. He took the fight on short notice. It was probably a big mistake.
And RDA is, you know, I still think RDA is quite underrated. Do you know what I mean? He's a phenomenal fighter. There's no shame in losing to a guy like him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with Benny, you know, there's I think Benny's probably got a lot more decision wins than Moicano.
Probably. Yeah.
So that's making me change my mind a little bit.
What's happening, Wales? Can you help us out, Wales? Who would you give the cardio edge to between Beneil Dariush and Renato Moicano? Smash a like on the video, buddy. Good to see you in the house as always. Hope be good to catch up with you soon. on the strings, perhaps. So, yeah, let's go Money Moicano. So he's rooting for Moicano in this.
I
Yeah,
think a lot of Moicano's become a fan favorite right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got the Show Me the Money podcast. He's got the catchphrases. I think people want to see him win to see what he's going to come out with on the mic. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? That's almost has become as highlight reel as his knockouts. Is his after fight interview. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Comes
No,
out
I'm
with
with you on that.
hilarious, hilarious.
With you on that. Yeah. So we're gonna give Moicano cardio, perhaps.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it. Like I
let's
say,
edge
if
it.
we go off now as well, we're talking now. I'd say Moicano's probably got the better gas tank, and we need to see as well, is ring rust going to affect Benny? Because
That's
it's
true.
usually cardio that takes the biggest hit when you're
Yeah.
out for a while. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, man. Absolutely. I'm 100% on board with that. We've got striking and power for Beneil Dariush. We've got grappling, speed, and cardio for Money Moicano. Who are you going for on the night, and how do they get it done?
I'm probably going to go Moicano TKO, ground and pound.
Oh, Moicano ground and pound. Then it is. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I can see it. Yeah, I'm in on that. Wales says I'd just edge it to Moicano. Yeah, I think he's
Yeah. I
on
think
board
this is
with
going
that.
to be one of those, like, people think Moicano's going to fly through it. But I think it's going to be, it should be a lot closer than we think it is. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
think the
mean?
scrambles are going to be good
Yeah,
initially,
yeah,
and then Moicano is going to take over. Maybe a third round sub. If not, it'll be a
yeah.
Moicano
It's,
decision,
it's,
perhaps.
it's good matchmaking. Hunter and Dana did well on this one. It's funny how both of these guys were in rumored to be fighting Paddy as well. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
You
no,
know, I
that's
mean,
strange how that's kind of
hmm,
changed up a bit, isn't it?
a little bit. Hmm.
It's almost like a better offer came to the UFC's table.
It was interesting. We'll have to wait and see what comes with that.
Anyhow, moving on. We won't, stay on that topic for too long.
No.
Next up, light heavyweight division, Jiří Procházka and Jamahal battle it out at last. The two were originally scheduled to fight back when Jiří Procházka had the belt, but unfortunately, Jiří fell injured, and that fight was never made, and Jamahal fought Glover Teixeira instead. If I'm rightly saying. This one is the battle of the I got locked out by Alex Pereira, right, in my last fight.
Yeah,
That's basically the way I see it. But starting off with Jamahal, it's kind of always concerning when a fighter comes back after a devastating knockout, and it's the same as goes for Jiří Procházka, of course. And Hill really felt he was hard done by in that Alex Pereira fight. Some may have questioned his path to the title prior to when he originally got the belt. But would this win cement him as one of the top fighters in the division?
I'm probably going to say no. I think there's a lot of killers at light heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? And like you say, yeah, you can say he jumped the gun and that, but I don't really like agree with all that. Like, if you beat number one, you're number one. Do you know what I mean? If you beat the champ, you're the champ. It doesn't matter how you get there. You got there. So I think with Hill and Jiří, like, this is really important fight for both of them, because both of them have now got both need the win to show they still belong at the top of the division.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you said, it's the battle of Pierre's kiddies, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Pierre's sons. I mean, I think he even put a post about that not long ago. So it's and even if Hill does win, do we see a Pereira rematch? Do we, if Jiří wins, do we see a Pereira rematch? It's one of those things, like, whoever wins, who's next? Because it's not going to be Pereira, I don't think.
No. No,
But
I
I
don't
will
think
say,
so.
I've been looking forward to this fight for a while. Like I think this is a very exciting fight because, like I say, both guys need to win
Yeah, I think it's
to
a
show
pick 'em.
they still got it. Do you know
I
what I
think I
mean?
really think it's a pick 'em. And then going back to that question, then since the loss to Paul Craig, Jamal Hill's resume has been Jimmy Crute knockout, Johnny Walker knockout, Thiago Santos knockout, former title challenger, I guess, in a way. Then
Mhm.
the unanimous decision win against Glover Teixeira. Um, so
I
yeah,
mean,
and
no disrespect to anybody. I mean, Jimmy Crute, like, I think has got a lot of knockouts on his resume, or being knocked out. I mean, Johnny Walker, I love the guy, but you know, Augusta win sometimes knocks him out. Thiago Santos again, was a good win, but Thiago Santos was on a skid at the time since losing to Jones.
yeah,
And Glover, that was a great fight. Now Glover and Hill was a brilliant fight. And I think, Hill scraped through on that. But there he's got to Piera and he's been knocked out, but same could be said about Jiří as well. He knocked out Volkan Ozdemir, Dominic Reyes, and then he got a title shot. So this is one of those where both of them need to prove. Oh, I mean, there was Rakic after Piera won, but both of them need to prove like they belong at the top. So yeah, I think and the other thing with Hill, if
here's
he
what.
loses,
Yeah,
I want to see what excuse he comes up with.
yeah, me too. And I would be interested to see where he goes from there. I mean, just looking at it now, you got Johnny Walker sitting in at number 10.
Mm.
Bar the champion Alex Pereira, Jamal Hill has not fought anyone in the top 9.
And I think the same said for Jiří, apart from Rakic.
Yeah. Let's
Where's
have a look.
Ozdemir? Because I haven't got the rankings in front of me right now.
Uzdemir is yeah, no, that's true. Uzdemir is currently in at number 9. So
So they've both got the same amount of top 10 wins.
well, Yuri's got 2 wins in the top. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Actually,
okay,
no. Yeah, okay. If you say top 10, yeah, you're about right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
So
a lot of things right on this fight for sure.
yeah,
As for Jiří though, now fighters always talk about becoming a new version of themselves after a loss, and we've kind of seen this before from Jiří Procházka. I'm surprised we're not seeing a new version of Jiří Procházka at middleweight. Were you surprised by that? And if so, do you still think it's possible for him to make the move? Now, he's only 32 years old and he's still got plenty of time left in the game. What do you think? Do you want to see Jiří at middleweight one day?
yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, I think if he loses this fight, I think we see him drop down middle. I think, like I say, I think he was going to go middleweight, and this fight got offered to him, and I think he thought, let's give this a go because it should have been done a few years back, and this and the other. The only thing I worry about that, I mean, I'm sure he could do it because Yuri's got some mad techniques and all kind of crazy shit. But I think the cut to middleweight could it might be difficult for him because he's quite beefy. Do you know what I mean? He's got a
He
lot of
is.
muscle on him. But I think it depends on how this fight goes. I think if he loses, then he'll work at cutting the
He's
weight
got
and
to.
go down middleweight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's for sure. I'm with you on that. Yes, George, who says, good evening, men and women of the chat. What's good in the hood? What's good, George? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I'll get to your comment about Arman Tsarukyan or the main event in just a sec. But he also says Hill is the light heavyweight Pena. No, that's not the first time I've heard that, I think. It's funny.
I think I get what he means. Yeah.
No, I like that. I like that a lot, to be fair. All right,
Or
okay.
Colby. Or Colby. He's a light
Yeah.
heavyweight Colby.
Okay, I see that. Just not as in your face and as annoying, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. All right, okay then. The gauge then, striking wise, who are you siding with?
We're going to strike him.
Starting off with striking.
You know, that's a tough one for me because you've got two types of striking. You've got Hill's orthodox, clean, crisp boxing, and then you've got Jiří's absolute wild samurai, you know, throw the kitchen sink at him type of stuff. It depends. Do you like kung fu films or do you like boxing films? You know what I mean? It's one of them.
Okay. All right, let me put this question to you then, which might help you decide who's better defensively.
Oh, defensively, that's Hill. I mean, Jiří likes to use his head to block punches. I mean, or he'll wave the antenna about and try and, you know, that'll work. But yeah, I think defensively, 100% Hill. We'll go with that. Yeah, that swayed my decision like that. Yeah,
I think so as well. George says, said it Saturday and I respect it till Jiří goes full Reyes on Hill's terrible tattoo and annoying mouth. Yeah, kind of would love to see that as well, to be fair. Grappling wise, though, I kind of want to give to Jiří in this.
I agree. Yeah. We saw that in the Glover fight. You know, Glover's.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, some of it, but you know, I mean, he submitted Glover to Teixeira, you know, who is like one of the best jiu-jitsu fighters in the light heavyweight division.
Yeah, it's a good kind of stat to have, or good accolade to have on your belt. However, both guys were absolutely tired, and it was down to who had the most energy by the end of the fight, and it was literally the submission in the last minute. So I didn't think it was really came down to skill. It was just who had more left in the tank.
Yeah, and I think Glover kind of made a mistake for going for the takedown and stuff like that, and so yeah, I get it, but I think still, have we ever seen Hill grapple?
Not really, no. I mean, a bar, that arm bar off from Paul Craig, but that was
Paul Craig. Well, that wasn't him grappling. That was him getting absolutely slaughtered. You know what I mean? So
it's a given. This. Power.
So that's another tough one because, you know, Hill was knocking everybody out, like you say, Jimmy Crute, Johnny Walker. But again, they had guys to knock out. Whereas Jiří knocked out Rakic, Dominic Reyes, Uzdemir, you know, and Dominic Reyes, don't forget, just had that fight with Jones, and Jones couldn't even knock him out. So I mean, no, sorry, my mistake. The fight before that was Yang, and Yang knocked Reyes out. So I mean, again, it's a tough one. I think that could be equal, but I'd probably sway slightly to Hill.
Okay.
On that one.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm agreeing with that one, to be honest. Speed. Oh, I think I want to go Jiří with speed. You know.
This is why I love this fight. I mean, look how close this is now. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got Jiří with his speed, with his his proper kung fu kind of, you know, like classic martial arts stuff, and then you've got Hill. If you watch him strike, I'm not saying that he's slow by any means, but you kind of see he's not fast with his punches. Do you know what I mean? He's just clever with his punches and seems to hit that off switch. But speed-wise, yeah, I mean, Jiří does the up and down, the left and right, you know, everything. He's always moving. So yeah, Jiří for speed, 100%.
All right, cardio then.
Probably Jiří as well, to be honest.
Yeah,
because the only reason I say that is we haven't seen Hill in a 5-rounder. I'll go 5 rounds, should I say?
That's true. Yeah, I'm all with you on that. So we're going with grappling, speed, and cardio for Jiří Procházka, and then for Jamahal Hill, we've got striking and power. Let's clear them then and see who you going with on the night, though. What's your prediction?
I love Jiří. I really do. Like, I think he's great. He's like, you know, hilarious, and you know, a very unorthodox striker and fighter. So I feel like I'm swaying towards a Jiří knockout.
Ooh,
Mainly because,
really?
as I say, I want to see what Hill comes out with afterwards.
Okay.
But I
All right.
wouldn't be surprised. I will not be surprised if Hill knocks Jiří out.
Yeah, I feel like there's a guaranteed knockout in this fight,
Yeah.
and it
This doesn't
could
go
go
to
either
the
way.
distance.
It could
Yeah.
go either way. I can honestly see Jamahal Hill get knocked out again, and then everyone question where he's at now in his career. Not saying that he would retire, but in terms of we've seen the best of him, and maybe you need to kind of ask questions of what's going on up here.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, like you say, Hill. I'm all for believing in yourself, and I think you can't be a fighter without believing in yourself. But then there's a level where you kind of go, just accept the loss. Do you know what I mean? The best fighters that, for me, are the ones that accept losses because they learn from them. Whereas Hill's just like, no, that was Herb Dean's fault. No, you did this and you did that. You know what I mean? Whereas, Jiří accepted both losses off Pierre. He might have said he used black magic. You know what I mean? But maybe he did. So, it's both of them. If Jiří loses, we question where he is in the division, and like you say, maybe that gives him the chance to move down to middleweight.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I think the difference is with this one. I feel that with a loss for Jiří, he could very well test the waters and go to middleweight and maybe, revive himself a little bit, against some of the less harder hitters.
Yeah.
Really, that's where I feel. Whereas Jamahal Hill, it's kind of like he's too big to be going down to middleweight, and therefore it's like, well, he's there for the next man to pick off, i.e. rebook the fight with Carlos Ulberg, gets Carlos Ulberg into title contention.
Yeah.
For me, for the UFC.
Like I say, I think this is a brilliant fight because a lot hangs on the result.
Yeah, for sure. George Murray says Hill beat Glover, but was 5 rounds. Yes, that's correct, my man. And MMA Anomaly says, the boys, how are you doing, JK and Red? Yes, mate, we are absolutely terrific, especially now that we've seen you in the chats, my man. I hope you all doing over there. I hope you're doing well. How's the missus? How's the family? And good to see you in the house. It'd be good to get your predictions for the upcoming co-main event and main event. George Mary says, Jiří does the Sharma over his corpse. Sorry. Yes, that'd be good to kind of see. Yeah, I'm really on the fence with this fight. I couldn't really give a prediction. I can see it being either way. My gut.
Maybe we might get a double knockout. Maybe that's what's on the card. Double knockout. You know what I
mean? Oh dear. Okay then. Let's move on then now to the co-main event of the evening of the night tomorrow night. Now I kicked off things with a poll for you guys to answer. We've got a couple of votes in. I basically asked I can't bring it up unfortunately, which is really annoying. But I asked you guys, in the main event or co-main event, which one are you most excited for? At the moment, we've got Makhachev versus Tsarukyan leading just. So that's very exciting, really. I'm quite intrigued by that. If anything, I'm actually quite more intrigued by this upcoming co-main event between Dvalishvili and Umar Nurmagomedov, which let's get into it then. For Umar, I'm going to leave up some grappling stats for you guys just to have a look. It's all about the grappling stats for this card, I'm afraid.
This is the grappler's delight. Casuals shouldn't watch this card because they're not going to like it. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to like the grappling.
No, that's right. And let's kick things off by talking about I'm getting wrong things down here. Let's kick things off then by talking about Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, did you know that the Nurmagomedov name is 8-0 in title fights? Now, this includes the overturned fight between Usman Nurmagomedov and Brent Primus at Bellator. Now, if Umar wins this, is that just not taking the absolute piss here? Because you've got Dagestanis running through everybody, right? I mean, the most unsuccessful one was Ubabakar Nurmagomedov in the heavyweight division, right? I think we were like heavyweight. Yeah. He didn't manage to get close to even the rankings, to be fair. But everyone else in this gym just seems to be taking over, and it's like,
maybe they disowned him. Maybe they're not part. He's not part of the family anymore. They've disowned him. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
but it is, isn't it? You know, you hear the name Nurmagomedov, and you instantly go, oh. You know, if your favorite fighter's fighting a Dagestani, you start worrying a bit, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You start, oh no, here we go. You know, I mean, I think I saw the stat, and I haven't got the right numbers here, so I might be wrong here. But I saw that something like that. Islam, Umar, Habib are like 83 and 3 or something altogether. Like it's insane. It's insane. You start thinking to yourself, who's gonna figure these Dagestanis out? You know, because usually you see a certain style of fighting. Eventually, someone figures out how to nullify it. So you start thinking out who's going to be the Dagestani kryptonite, and right now I have no idea. You know, I think Merab, the Georgian kind of wrestling, this is what we're going to see this weekend, and that's why it's so exciting. You know, is Georgian wrestling going to be nullifying Dagestani, or is Dagestani going to nullify Georgian?
Yeah, absolutely. And when I was thinking about these two matchups, I was thinking, right, that if you jumbled up the rankings, right, you didn't put them in any order at all. And if I said to you, in both of these divisions, could you pick me two of the most well-rounded fighters to pair up against each other? Would you have picked these 4 or these 2 in each of these divisions?
I think so. I mean, I haven't got Dana White's money or Hunter Campbell's, but like you say, if you're looking at the best of the best, these are the best of the best in the division right now. Yeah, 100%. I mean, they're not, because this is the thing. Like with Umar especially, he's not just a great grappler or wrestler. He's got strikes. We saw that in the Sandhagen fight. You know, he's got kicks. He's got boxing. He's got Muay Thai, Islam as well. His striking is I think better than what Khabib's was. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? 100%. So, you know, and again, Merab's just an absolute machine when it comes to taking people down. And some people say his style's boring and this, that, and the other, but I personally don't think it is. And he's got the good striking. I mean, he outstruck Sean O'Malley. Yeah. You know, so you can't deny it. These guys are just best of the best. This is one hell of a way to kick off the year with this pay-per-view, I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. I know I'm absolutely stoked for it as much as you guys are. And me normally says, doing great, just trying to finish this work week so I can hop in the car and drive to LA for UFC 311. Well done, man. Congratulations. Glad you got tickets. Yeah. And man, I'm super jealous. But he says this card isn't isn't made for casuals for sure, but as MMA diehards are going to eat good this week. Absolutely. George Murray says, with Umar grapple heavy style, will Merab be too much or will he defend it easy, brother? MMA normally says watching Dagestanis run through every division is reminiscent of the OG UFC days when the Brazilians did it. That's true. Exactly. George Murray says Dagestan taken over the PFL. Every new champ bar one is from Dagestan. Brendan Loughlin said it on Talk Sport MMA, and he also reckons that Paul Hughes will be the kryptonite. MMA normally says Islam isn't just a great grappler or striker, he's a great fighter, and that's a good way to put things, to be honest. MMA anomaly. And I think, perhaps with these guys, you need to injure them seriously badly in order to get them out of there. You need to break a tibia or fibia if you want to get past them.
You need to stop them because they're not going to be stopped. I mean, we've seen people try. I mean, like, I remember the Dustin Poirier guillotine on Habib, and everyone, I was stood up thinking, oh my god, he's got it. and then Khabib just pops his head out like, "No, it's my turn." You know what I mean? It's like you just don't know how these guys are doing these things. You know what I mean?
They flick that switch as well. As for Merab Dvalishvili, then his first title defense, and it's against the toughest threat in the division, an undefeated Dagestani Sambo fighter. If Merab comfortably wins, do you see him holding the belt for a very long time? If so, who else is capable of testing him?
Again, I mean, comfortably. Now that's going to be a major, major challenge, you know. But if he won, he's another one. He seems unstoppable. He seems like he's just ragdolling people around. I mean, he treated Cejudo like a kid, you know, who'd been naughty and picked him up and put him in naughty corner. It's just, you don't know. I mean, if the Sean O'Malley rematch happens, I kind of see the same thing happening unless Sean really changes his game plan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with that.
And again, you're looking at the top five. Could we see a Peter Yang rematch? Could we see Sandhagen come into the mix? You know, and again, you're looking at him and you're thinking, if he beats Umar, then that's like who can beat him? You know, and like say vice versa, Umar, if he wins and he's the champ, who's taking the belt? Do you know what I mean? These could be, we could be looking at. I don't want to start talking bantamweight gold, but maybe.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe one of these guys is destined to maybe perhaps fill that position and become that eventually one day. You know, of course, there's a lot of work to be done in this, and maybe perhaps Merab is on his way there. Should he get a win this weekend? If Umar gets the win, then maybe we'll want to see a little bit more from Umar, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for like say, I mean, Dominic Cruz for me is the bantamweight goal. And, you know, to beat his record, like you're going to have to, he's got, Merab or Umar's going to have to beat the whole top six. Do you know what I mean? No talk about jumping up yet. I don't want to hear that. Like, be the bantamweight goal. Do you know what I mean? Defend your belt against every, like, competitor. But yeah, this again, along with the Jiří and Hill fight, this is a major, major fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they're already talking about Sean being the next one in line again, but you know,
for sure. Okay, we'll get into the games in just a sec. Few stats here for the grappling edge. We've got takedown average 6.09 for Merab Dvalishvili to Umar's 3.98. Takedown accuracy 36% for Merab Dvalishvili, 50% for Umar. And we've got takedown defense 80% in favor of Merab Dvalishvili and 100% for Umar Nurmagomedov. No one's yet to score a takedown against Umar. But let's bring up then the gauge. Starting off with the striking elements of the game. Where's your head at?
I'm probably going to go with Umar on that one. Yeah. I think like you say, he's more, he's quicker. He's got the better kicks. He's even got spinning shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas with Merab, he's in and out, and he's a good striker, but he uses the striking to engage the clinch. You know what I mean? To go for the takedown the same way Umar does, but Umar seems like if Umar was just in a stand and bang fight, I think he'd do pretty good. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm kind of swaying towards Umar on that one.
Yeah.
Don't even ask me the next one. Don't you dare ask me who's a better grappler, right? Because
well, it's
the chat can answer that one. That's so difficult.
It's part of it, man. I know. To chalk it all up, I know. It's going to come down to some of the finest of things. I mean, they could very well cancel each other out, but seeing what Corey had some good defense originally in the first 2 rounds of their fight. Then as fatigue started to settle in was when Umar took over and was able to secure those takedowns. With Merab, is it going to be constant scrambles out of positions? throughout the 5 rounds, or do you think there's going to be
I think Merab will scramble and try and reversal. It's like you say, Merab isn't. I don't think Merab's going to gas. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, people have called him a cardio bully because he's just literally the machine's a great nickname for him. Merab is more of a, I don't want to say a defensive wrestler, if you get what I'm saying. Like, he'll pick you up and throw you down, but does he do much with it? Whereas with Umar, he kind of does. He'll strike, he'll keep moving positions into full guard, half guard, crucifix. So he'll keep moving. I'm probably gonna go with Umar.
Yeah.
It's minuscule.
It really is. And Imran Khan makes a really good point here in the chat. He says Umar's better. He's got more submissions. And, maybe that it comes down to pure execution.
Yeah.
In a way.
I think it's what you do with the takedown, isn't it? It's what if you've got someone on their back and you've got them on the ground and you're on top of them, what are you doing with it? Do you know what I'm saying? It's one of them. I mean, Merab kind of puts people in headlocks and kisses the back and that, but that's not going to really win you a fight, is it?
No, I think maybe perhaps in some of Merab's fights, his opponents have been able to escape that hold from him, but then it's not for long. Merab's just straight back on you again, putting you in the same positions. Whereas with Umar, with the Sambo style that these Dagestanis are brought up with, it's, I'm going to drown you.
Yeah, when he's on top, he's on top. Yeah, he isn't getting off and you aren't getting up. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think that's what it comes down to. Yeah, awesome stuff in the chats, guys. Excellent stuff. George Murray says, no one will do a DJ or Jones type of run in title fights for the next decade. I think you're very right there in a lot of ways. But maybe the Dagestani guys are a bit more equipped to maybe perhaps reach those levels, but who knows? Merab got spinning shit. He's backhanded shots. Oh, okay, yeah, referring to Merab striking there.
Yeah. I mean, he has done a few spinners. Yeah, I will admit. You know what I mean?
Power though. Where are you siding with this?
I'm probably gonna go again with Umar.
Oh, Umar again. Speed.
I feel like because speed. That's what I mean. Now, all right, I'll mix it up with that one. Merab for speed, slightly. Okay. The reason I'm kind of leaning towards that is because, like you said, he's in and out. Even if someone gets up, he's going straight back at it. And he's like this little thing that he's just coming after you all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Chucky out of Child's Play or something.
It literally is, yeah. What's great about Merab is actually his footwork and his ability to stay just outside of range so he doesn't get caught with counters. He'll chomp the legs really well. And then he will find those very fine moments to blitz and explode forwards to close the distance. And that's what he's either all the way out or all the way in. There is no in between with him. Yeah. And I think that's what makes him really good. So yeah, I can kind of see some elements of speed in there as well. You've got the dynamic kicking ability that Umar possesses. He can snap that front leg real quick. So yeah, it can go up in the air, but I like your thinking on this. Cardio, probably the easiest option. It's going to be Merab.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you look at Sandhagen. That's the Umar Sandhagen fight. Like, Umar wasn't really that gassed at all. But when you're talking about cardio, like, Merab he's not even sweating by the end of the 5th round. It's just another day to him. Do you know what I mean? So I don't, that guy, I'm not saying he's on something, but it's unreal how he does it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely, the machine is a great name for him.
Yeah. And I guess going back to the grappling side of things, I guess we've also seen Merab in compromising positions before. Okay, it was a little bit earlier on into his UFC career, but you never really see that in Umar's game at all.
No, I mean, Umar's, is undefeated again, so it's always great when an undefeated fighter comes into a big fight like this. We saw that last year with Shavkat and Ian Garrett. So it's a big one. And you know, with Merab, he's been caught a few times, but he's never been like, you know, too out of it. He's been wobbled. I think even Marlon Moraes wobbled him, and there was a big scramble there. So I think what we were definitely going to see Merab get dropped with Umar pouncing on him, and then it's going to be interesting to see how he survives that.
All right, yeah. Okay, then. Interesting stuff. We've gone for striking, grappling, and power in favour of the challenger, Umar Nurmagomedov, and then we have gone speed and cardio for the champion, Merab Dvalishvili. Let's clear this then, and then I've got to ask you, who are you picking on the night between these two? It is so damn tough. What's your prediction?
You know what, man? This is like, I haven't even picked this fight on my verdicts or MMA fantasy yet because I can't figure it out. Like, I've got one side of my brain screaming Umar, and I've got one side, yeah, but don't count Merab out. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's gonna be so. I would not be surprised if we saw a draw, like 100%. So I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna ask the chats because I can't pick this one, bro.
Okay, here's what I think could very well happen. I think that Merab has got to start quick, right? He's got to be on the front foot early because Umar took a little while to settle in the Corey Sandhagen fight. So if you're Merab, you have got to win round 1, right? Then in rounds 2 and 3, you see what Umar is made of, see what he's going to possess, and then maybe wear him down in those rounds. I can see Merab probably dropping those 2 rounds, and then Umar being 2-1 up heading into the championship rounds. But then in rounds 4 and 5 is where Merab needs to come back solid and just absolutely melt Umar with his cardio once he starts to fade. That's what I can see. But is it going to happen is another question. You know, Merab decision, I kind of feel like it's a possibility with that cardio. Or is Umar going to perhaps get the finish?
It's honestly, this is going to be one of the best fights to watch as well. I mean, like you say, this and the main card, the main event, it's just going to be elite grappling, elite, just high level scrambles and takedowns and get ups and all this kind of transition. It's going to be amazing, man. Like, I'm really excited for this one because anything could happen. And this is why we love MMA. Anything could happen.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like it's an Umar, like I said, Umar stoppage. If he gets the knockout, perhaps, or a submission if he's able to catch Merab, or Merab's taking the decision. I'm afraid.
Like all right, cool. Before, I can see Merab getting dropped by Umar, and then we see what happens after that.
All right, then. Sounds good. All right, then. Time is moving on. We've been at this for a long time. We're finally at the main event then of the evening between Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan. Islam Makhachev, he gets a chance to break records this weekend and cement himself as one of the best lightweights to ever do it. Where does he rank in your top lightweights of all time? That's a big one to think about. Can you guys help us in the chats and the comments as well? It'd be great to hear your thoughts on that. But Red Wolf, what's your thoughts?
I hate you with these questions sometimes, JK. Like, you
know. Oh, I know.
It's one of those things. I mean, lightweight is such a funny division because when you think about the history of it, I mean, I'm not going to go into a big David Attenborough spiel here, but, you know, the history of the lightweight division in the UFC is like, it's so up and down and wild, you know. I mean, we had BJ Penn back in the day who for a while was always talked about as the lightweight GOAT. Then along came a certain Dagestani, you know, Khabib, and he just kind of flew through everything. And this debate is either GOAT. There's the people saying that he is. There's people saying that he retired too early. So for me, I think Islam is very close to becoming the lightweight GOAT. I think if he beats Arman and he stays at lightweight, don't go to welterweight just yet. Do you know what I'm saying? And maybe beats two more good contenders, because like I say, lightweight is a really exciting division at the minute, and there's some good fights for him there. 2 more fights, lightweight GOAT.
I mean, it's inevitable, really. You know, just given off the body of work that he's been able to achieve, since becoming the champion. You know, beating Charles Oliveira the way that he did, to beat Dustin Poirier, who's been in a long time, been at lightweight a long time, fought the who's who, including Khabib, of course, to beat the likes of Arman Tsarukyan, who I think, as we go back on the previous question, if I wanted to pair up 2 of the most well-rounded individuals in this division, you could argue that Arman Tsarukyan is very well-rounded, if not one of the most well-rounded in the division. So to beat him a second time, I think it's pretty solid, because the first time he was 22 years old. Tsarukyan was coming in at short notice. So there's a bit of time for both men to kind of prepare for each other in this one.
Yeah, 100%.
And the scrambles in the last fight were mad.
Yeah, I rewatched the first fight recently, and my God, it's impressive. They were just rolling. They were getting up, rolling. It was a brilliant fight. Brilliant fight for the hardcores. Not so great for the casuals. But when you know what you're looking for, and you know what you see the intricacy, and you see the little movements that they're doing, and the little tricks, it was brilliant. And the best thing about it is both fighters have improved dramatically since then.
Yeah.
So this could be that fight on steroids. Not saying they're on steroids, but but there's been some juicy pictures being put out. But I'm sure it's all clean. You know, I mean, like I say with Arman as well, his flexibility is unreal. That guy should be playing, you know, Mr. Fantastic in the new Fantastic Four film. He's just made of rubber, you know. And with Islam, he's just like, again, he's like Umar. Once he's on top of you, you're going nowhere, and he's like a boa constrictor. Yeah. You know, he just slowly moves in for the kill until he's got you. So, like with Arman, can he slip out of that? Can he weather the storm? Because that first fight was actually very close. You know, very hard to call. I think Islam did win, and he deserved the win, but it was very close fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Let's talk about Arman Tsarukyan then for a second then, because in an interview with Usman and Cejudo, he said, and I quote, "After I win the title, the sport thing is done. It's going to be just business. After this fight, when I'm the champion, I'm going to only think about money fights." Now, this isn't something that is unheard of before. Do you think he would need to beat Makhachev again to get given these so-called money fights? What do you think?
Yeah, all right. So first part of the question, I think if Islam loses, I think immediate rematch, 100%. You know, it's only fair. I mean, Islam did it with Volkanovski. You know, there's been plenty of long reigning champions that have deserved and gotten an immediate rematch. You know, Max and Volk and stuff like that. However, what does he mean by money fight? Do you know what I mean? For me, if you've become a champ of your division, be the champ of your division. You know, face the contenders that are coming up, because the same way you were given a chance to become a champion, give them a chance to become a champion. You know, I mean, if he's fighting people like Max Holloway, if Max Holloway, you know, gets into the rankings, he is in the rankings, but gets to title contention, that'll be a money fight. You know, if he keeps stacking up rings and putting rubies in the old, in the new belt, he's going to get the money fight. So I think it's a very weird way of doing things, and a bit of a weird thing to say. I suppose if he wins, he's going to call out McGregor. You know, everybody does. So it's, I don't particularly agree with what he's saying. You know, if you want to become a champ, then be a champ.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree with you on that one, to be honest. And going back to the Max Holloway option there, if Max Holloway was to get paired up with the likes of a Charles Oliveira, perhaps, then and he gets the job done there again for the second time, then he's next in line for the belt. Yeah, which is crazy, and the fact that Max Holloway just get demolished by Ilia Topuria in that last fight, he could very well find himself back into another title fight, but in the weight class above. So yeah, fingers crossed. Maybe perhaps that is.
Why'd you have to remind me of that?
It's all right, man. It's all right. George Murray says, Arman. He says, if Khabib is the GOAT, but Islam might overtake his record, does that make him the GOAT because he beat 3 people in title fight? Izzy, Silva, Poatan, they all GOATs then. Yeah, and I guess I see your argument there, George, for sure. How much of the threshold has Islam got to pass in order to kind of be called a GOAT, really? The title defense record is so small at lightweight just because of the sheer talent that's been in this division for many, many years. And we've not really seen anyone dominate, get, title defense.
No, I agree with what you're saying, but I think it's like maybe it's going to be title defense numbers and the level of competition. Like you say, Charles Oliveira, Arman, these are 2 like really high level, Justin Poirier, the high level fighters. If Islam wins and then faces like say Gaethje Hooker happens, the winner of Gaethje Hooker, if he fights Max Holloway, well, people will say he's fighting another featherweight, but it's the level. I see what they're saying. It's the level of competition, but I don't think it's far.
Yeah, for sure. Imran Khan says both champs are going to face their toughest contenders in their respective divisions, and the contenders are both young and very hungry to win the title. And yeah, I think Imran's basically mirroring what we were saying earlier, really, in terms of the 2, if you look at the divisions and you pick out 2 of the most well-rounded fighters, you're going to pick these 2. All right, let's get into the final thing. And I think you froze a little bit there, buddy, but no problemo. We will get into the gauge to try and work out who has the upper hand. Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Oh, okay, you're still here. Hang on. You've just frozen on my screen. Let me see if I can reactivate that for you. Hang on.
I'm moving on that. Strange. Trying to shut me down.
There we go. You're right. No, it's fine. We're good. We're back. There
we go.
George Murray says Islam has one real defense at lightweight. I guess if you take away those Volk fights, there is an argument as well. So yeah, maybe a few more. Striking then for these gentlemen. Who are you siding it with?
Striking again, it's a tough one because striking isn't either of their strong points. But I do feel that Islam's striking has improved a lot better than Arman's.
Okay.
So I'm going to side with Islam on striking.
All right. Very, very well. I like Tsarukyan's kicks. I think his kicks are really good. They're a lot better than Islam's, however. But with those improvements, the fact that Islam was able to KO Volk the way he did was pretty damn impressive. So hard to deny him there. Grappling wise, though, I mean, Islam bested him the last time out.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you've got to go with Islam on that one.
But here's one thing though: only 2 people have been able to take down Islam Makhachev. One of them was Arman Tsarukyan for a brief period in the first round of their fight. The other one was actually Thiago Moises. Thiago Moises was able to register a takedown in their fight. And that's it. So we're going to see more of it in this fight, but we're giving the edge to the champion in this. But we move on to power. Power, who's it going to be?
Maybe Arman?
I'm going to kind of say maybe Arman as well, He can crack and... The flying knee. I mean, okay, the flying knee comes down to precision, but the knee landing against.
Well, again, the precision's still good, but you still need power to knock people out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and I say he's got these weird, unorthodox, axe kicks that leg goes all the way up. It's just mental. I pull a hamstring watching him fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Speed, though.
Speed again.
Speed for Umar, for Arman. Yeah, so we're heading in 2-2 going into cardio yet again, guys. We're going for striking and grappling for the champion, Islam Makhachev, and we're going for power and speed for Arman Tsarukyan. But who takes it with cardio?
Cardio, I'm going to go Islam.
I'm going to go Islam as well.
Yeah. The reason I say that, there's two reasons I say that. If you look at the Poirier fight, even though he looked gassed, he bit the bullet and just went for it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He dragged Poirier by the leg and jumped on him. Whereas there's a lot of talk about if Charles versus Arman went 5 rounds, Charles would have.
Yeah. I do think that is part of it, and it's quite a big part of that whole narrative, really. I felt that on the night, Arman beat and fought a very good Charles Oliveira that night.
Yeah.
It wasn't, Charles Oliveira who's on his way out. He controlled Charles quite well in those exchanges and landed some good damage. Okay, so there we go. We got 3 in favour for the champion, 2 leading for Arman Tsarukyan in power and speed. But then to bring this down to and wrap everything up, Red Wolf, who are you siding with on this one?
I'm probably going to go with Islam via sub or decision.
Oof, yeah. I think I'm kind of
in the later round.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same. I'll make a definitive pick come Friday, I reckon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm feeling with it. All right, awesome stuff. Then George Merry says Islam better not ask for a welterweight title next because Bilal has publicly said he won't fight then as they train together. So I hope Shavkat does a job because Shavkat versus Islam would be crazy. Take my cash. 100% all over that, George. I like that. And I think many other people are going to be rooting for Shavkat for that exact same reason. But maybe it won't happen just yet. I think we're maybe 1 or 2 fights away from it, maybe.
Yeah. I want to see Islam stay at lightweight for now. Do you know what I mean? I get wanting to go for the double belt. I understand that completely. And I think some fighters absolutely should go for the double belt if the rings through the division.
I mean, he defended his title against the guy moving up from the weight class below.
Yeah.
For a shot at that status. So it's only fair, right? Oh, he's frozen.
There we go. Like George had 1. You hear me?
Yeah, it's better.
You got me? Like George said in the chat, a lot of people say Islam's only got 1 lightweight title defense, which kind of true. You know what I'm saying?
Imran Khan says Arman got powerful ground and pound too. Yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah,
absolutely.
About that point, he's got devastating ground and pound. But he'll have to do a lot of damage on Islam Makhachev if he wants to get the nod on the night. All right, awesome stuff, guys. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for your comments. They've been absolutely amazing tonight. Smash a like on the video if you've not done so already and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel or UFC fan channel where fan opinions matter most, and make sure you got the notifications bell rang on our channel because there's much more content headed your way, including a live watch along for the main card this weekend, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Red Wolf, you've been an absolutely amazing guest as always. It's good to have you on the breakdown show once again. Have you got any final last words before we say goodbye?
Not many, but thanks for having me. This weekend's going to be one hell of a banger card, and we can't wait for it. And keep your eye out because I think me and Against the Fence have got some news coming soon. So check that out later in the week.
We certainly have, and you will get to see that very soon on our social media channels. So that's a wrap. Guys, get some good rest, and we'll see you this weekend. Don't forget to check out much more other content that's coming your way in the next few days as well. Much love. Bye for now.